Hello, Easy Enough English members. This is the third video in the TOEFL Study Guide video series. Okay, now the last two videos that we shot were about the TOEFL, the paragraph or the passage taken from the TOEFL examination study guide. Okay, in the book that looks like this. The Princeton Reviews Cracking the TOEFL IBT. Okay, all the material that I'm covering is taken from this book. Okay, last time we talked about a passage dealing with the poisonous toxic metal mercury. Okay, this is the third question dealing with that passage. So I'm going to go ahead and read it. In paragraph 3, what does the author say about the role of plankton in the spread of mercury throughout the food chain? Okay, now as you can see, I've already underlined and boxed in some words here, some vocabulary words that you may not know. Plankton is a small organic animal. Okay, anything that's organic is living. Okay, plankton is like a very small insect-like creature in the ocean that bigger fish feed on. Okay, now the food chain here. Food chain just shows us what is the apex predator and all of its prey in a certain ecosystem. Okay, an ecosystem, which I have also boxed in right here. An ecosystem is just a system of animals living together in a certain place. Okay, so there are desert ecosystems, rainforest, tropical rainforest ecosystems, tundra ecosystem. Tundra just means a very cold place. Now all these animals living in these different places are different from each other because their environment and the weather around them is different. Okay, that place where they live and how they interact and communicate with each other is called an ecosystem. Okay, so the food chain is just a diagram or a picture that shows us who is the apex predator or the animal that eats everything and doesn't get eaten. Nobody eats him and all of its other sources of food. And right here I've drawn an example diagram of a human food chain. So here we have humans at the top as the apex predator, okay? And here we have chicken, cow, pig, and tuna, okay? Now under each one of these animals, I've drawn what they eat, okay? This is a chicken, it eats chicken feed or seeds and nuts, things like that, and small insects. A cow eats grass, a pig eats anything, slops, and tuna eats phytoplankton and smaller fish. Now, phytoplankton is just the small animal that we talked about. Okay. Now, let's get to some of the answers we have. Okay. Now, remember, I've already posted the reading in the first video's comment section. But what I'm going to do, because that might be hard to read, I'm going to go ahead and write the paragraph in the comment section of this video after I post it. Okay. So what I've done here is I've boxed in some more vocabulary words in the answers that you might not know. Okay. Now here I have A, and I'm just going to mark all of these out, right? Because I forgot to mark this one out so that you know which one is not correct, which one you don't know the answer yet. So we're just going to assume they're all wrong because let's say we don't know any of these words. Okay, they could all be. And we know there is one right answer, but if we don't know any of these words, we can choose from any of them without knowing, and that's what's wrong. Okay, that's why we put the X's here. So before we understand what these words and boxes are, we can't choose any of these answers because they're not appropriate because we don't know what the words mean. Okay, the first word is transform. To transform means to change something, right? It's a verb. Next would be we have provide. If you provide something, you make something available for someone. Okay, I provide English videos for you for Easy Enough English Facebook group. Okay, I make the videos available for you to watch. Okay, I provide them for you. That's also a verb. Okay, sediments. You can think of sediments as very small pieces of rock and dirt, and also some very small microscopic animals. Microscopic means you need to use a microscope to see them because they're so small. Okay. Reduce. To reduce something is to make it smaller or lesser. Okay. In an ecosystem, we already talked about what an ecosystem is. It's a group of animals living together and interacting with each other in a certain area. And finally, we have concentrate. To concentrate means to make something stronger than it was before. Okay. Now, I'm going to read the paragraph to you that this question is from or pertains to. Okay. It's paragraph 3. Mercury particles released into air fall into these waterways and quickly enter aquatic food chain. Now, an aquatic food chain is another type of food chain. What do you think where do you think an aquatic food chain is? Aqua means water, okay? Aqua is an adjective or actually a prefix to some words, aquamarine, okay? Or aquatic. Aquatic is an adjective meaning of the water. So an aquatic ecosystem is any ecosystem within water. So we're talking about fish, okay, and other kinds of animals that live in the water, okay. First, mercury attaches to sediments, or those small pieces of dirt and rock, or sometimes very small microscopic living things. Fragments of inorganic and organic material that settle to the bottom of the body of water. Second, bacteria or germs, you can think of them as, change the mercury into methyl mercury, a highly toxic substance. So the mercury here, we can use the word concentrate. The mercury is being concentrated into methyl mercury, which is a stronger kind of mercury, through the bacteria. Okay. Third, phytoplankton, or just plankton, feed on the organic matter in the sediments and absorb the methyl mercury. So then the phytoplankton, the smaller animals that bigger fish eat these small bacteria in the sediment and some of the sediment, and the mercury is concentrated in their body. So what they get is stronger than just mercury, it's methyl mercury. So it's a concentrated type of mercury. Okay. Fourth, fish then eat the mercury contaminated phytoplankton. The larger the fish, the longer it lives, the more concentrated the methyl mercury is in its system becomes. The mercury can then move higher up on the food chain when humans eat fish that have absorbed high amounts of mercury. So basically, what this question is asking us again is in paragraph 3, what does the author say about the role of plankton in the spread of mercury throughout the food chain? Or you can think of this question as, how is the phytoplankton involved? How does it help spread mercury through the food chain? So we have the sediments on the bottom, the bacteria and the sediment on the bottom. The mercury is already in here. Okay. Then we have the small plankton come and they eat the things inside this. Okay. Now, in this small cross section, we can see this is bacteria. We can see some bacteria eating this, and now here is where the mercury is transformed into methyl mercury. So now, because the bacteria is eating everything from here, this is a methyl mercury. Okay, the plankton will eat this bacteria, and then in turn will be contaminated with methyl mercury. Okay. Now, what happens to this phytoplankton? A bigger fish will come along and eat this. Okay. Now, this fish, the bigger it is and the longer it lives, the more plankton that it eats. Okay. And remember, the plankton is contaminated with methyl mercury, which is the concentrated form of mercury. So this is how mercury is spread throughout the food chain. Now remember, we said humans eat tuna, right? Tuna eat plankton. Now, if the plankton is contaminated with mercury and the tuna eats it and the tuna gets very big, think about how much plankton it has eaten. And then we eat that tuna. And that's how that's how mercury is spread up to us through the food chain. And this is methyl mercury. Okay. Now, let's read our answers again and see which one is the most appropriate. It transforms mercury into methyl mercury. Okay. Now that we know what all these words mean, now we can choose between an answer. So we can go ahead and erase the X and say, okay, now I can choose between any of these because now I know what they all mean. It transforms mercury into methyl mercury. This is not true. Okay? The bacteria transforms mercury into methyl mercury. Okay? Not the plankton. So this is incorrect. B, it provides the link between methyl mercury in the sediments and fish. Now this is the correct answer. Because the question is asking, how does plankton help mercury spread throughout the food chain? Okay, because the plankton eats the bacteria, and the bacteria makes the mercury into methyl mercury. Then the big fish eat the plankton, then we eat the bigger fish. So that's how mercury is spread through the food chain. But let's look at the other answers too and say why they're not correct. C, it reduces the impact of methyl mercury on the coastal ecosystem. This is wrong. Why is that? Because in the paragraph, it did not say anything about a coastal ecosystem or animals living near the ocean. It said nothing about that. And finally, the last one, it concentrates the mercury, making it less toxic. Now, this is funny because we know to concentrate means to make greater or make stronger. So it doesn't make sense to concentrate something to make it weaker. It's impossible because that's not what concentrate means. So this answer is also incorrect. So the answer is B. It provides the link between methyl mercury in sediments and fish. Okay. So how does the methyl mercury get from the sediments to the fish? Well, through plankton. Okay, that's the length or the way and how it gets up throughout the food chain. Okay, guys, that's the video. I hope you liked the video. If you do like the video, be sure to leave a comment. I would like for you guys to be able to communicate freely in the comment section. So if you have an opinion or any questions about anything or any of tutoring or classes, you can leave me a comment in the comment section of these videos. If you are uncomfortable doing that, you can also reach me at easyenoughenglish@gmail.com. Okay, I'll write that for you. easyenoughenglish@gmail. I have to erase my tuna.com. Okay, and you can reach me at this email asking me any questions that you may have about classes, class time, curriculum, anything you would like to discuss, tutor fees, anything like that. Now, here at Easy Enough English at our group, what we want to do is we want to provide you with English lessons and instruction, very high quality English lesson and instruction at a very affordable price. You don't have to go to the Bushiban and spend $10,000 to $20,000 a month to take English classes there and learn there, when you can learn here from us for free. And you have complete control of your curriculum. We can provide a curriculum for you depending on what you want to learn, or you can choose what you want to learn and speak to us. Okay, I've worked in this Bushiban system in Taiwan for 7 years, and I can tell you in the system, it's all about the money, not about the education. Okay, so You've had enough. It's time that someone provide this for you at a very affordable and effective cost. Okay. Now, if you guys don't want to shoot me a comment in the comment section or an email, you can also contact me through Facebook Messenger. I hope to hear from you guys soon. Thanks, guys.